Today on the Topping Show, Elon Musk on the mainstream media increasing their race-related news by 700% and going viral. Biden reads his speech instructions out loud. TikTok bill has been signed into law. Vivek on the U.S. Foreign Affairs Committee wearing an Israeli and Ukrainian lapel pin, but no U.S. flag. Footlocker is going to have a redesign of their stores. TikTok to stop paying users to stare at their phone. Detroit squatter goes viral, even stealing their electricity from their neighbors. And Omaha Packing Co has a recall. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Footlocker to redesign some of their stores in an effort to boost sales. Now, this comes to us thanks to LinkedIn News, specifically a gentleman by the name of Bobby Armstrong wrote this article. They note, quote, Footlocker's next step, a redesign. They note that Footlocker is stepping into the future and hoping to stem a sales downswing with a redesigned store. The sneaker retailer recently announced its first of 5 stores of the future. Ooh, that sounds fancy. Which will feature a quote-unquote drop zone for new releases and a sneaker hub for customization. A drop zone. I thought that was with records, like when you drop an album, which when I was young, I thought you meant like you just drop a CD on the ground, which, I mean, some of those CDs you probably should have because it's terrible music, but in reality, it's actually just dropping. It means to debut with something new. Now, custom section is also going to be great for their sales. They note that the athletic apparel company, which earns more than 80% of its revenue from 2,500 stores around the globe, has $8.2 billion in annual sales in its last fiscal year, but that was down 7% from the previous year. They have also spent around $242 million on the redesign and intends to spend another $200 million on real estate projects this year, according to their filing with the SEC. Now, the CFO, Mike Bond, expects the company's profitability goal detailed CEO Mary Dillon's lace-up strategy revealed in March 2023 to be delayed by 2 years to 2028. Now, granted, having a strategy called lace up, I mean, that's just on point for a shoe company or shoe reseller company. That makes sense. Now, one of the most fascinating things in terms of business is retail. There's a whole science on why they redesign stores, the layouts of everything. It's down to a science. He's gotten to the point where they have done multiple studies where they found that consumers will spend, I think it's 1.3% more if they shop in a clockwise pattern around a store, which sounds crazy, but somehow it works. Not to be a contrarian, but I always shop in a counterclockwise methodology. But I partially digress. With Footlocker, having the drop zone for new releases, that will help, but really, the customization is really where I think they're going to make a lot more of their more profitable things, because people are willing to pay more for a custom product so they can say they have, their very own shoe design. So not only does it build more value in terms of they're more profitable for the company, but it's also going to have more brand affiliation to say, hey, I went to Footlocker, I customized my shoes there. That's a unique experience that they can actually tie more directly to that store. Other good news for Footlocker, we reported earlier this year, Nike is kind of swinging back the pendulum to work with more partners like Walmart and Footlocker who sell the products on their behalf, aka the indirect sales model. Whereas during the pandemic, the big tech boom, everyone was talking about going direct sales. So Nike was investing heavily, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars into having the ability to sell directly to consumers via mostly their website and some of their stores. But now they're starting to swing back to their partner ecosystem, which, granted, a wise economist by the name of Tom Sewell once said there's no such thing as solutions, only trade-offs, because very true. Nike will make a little less money when they're selling through Footlocker, but they also are now indirectly employing hundreds of thousands of sales representatives. Nike doesn't have to pay to put these stores up. They're able to remove some of that risk from the Nike area. So I suspect this will be exceptionally good news for Footlocker. And the redesign, it looks pretty clean. I was going to say, it's kind of cliches, but it's not your grandpa's Footlocker. Although they better still sell New Balance if that might want me to go there. I wouldn't, but So, I don't know, to me, that's the more legacy logo that when I was a kid kind of grew up with. Got a little more soft edges. If you're just listening to audio, you don't see it. Let me know, when's the last time you actually shopped at Footlocker? And what's the compelling reason to go there? Again, nowadays the brick and mortar, that's usually the biggest challenge is how do you give consumers a compelling positive reason to actually go to your store when, again, e-commerce is so plentiful. And as we know, to the statistics right there, an overwhelming majority of their revenue comes from e-commerce. Or sorry, take that, reverse it. An overwhelming majority of the revenue actually comes from the stores, 80%. So that's huge. So it'll be interesting to see, do you think this will help revamp the store sales? I think it will to a certain degree. It's hard to turn that trend around with people, the decreasing sales, but this might help. Let me know in the comments. I would be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have TikTok to stop paying users to stare at their phone like zombies. Well, that's not the actual, official headline, but that's what I interpreted it as. Now, this comes to us thanks to a website by the name of The Verge, and they note, quote, TikTok will stop paying people to watch videos every day. They note that TikTok is suspending, oh geez Louise, this touchscreen is rudimentary at best. TikTok is suspending a reward program that pays users a small fraction each day for interacting with the platform. It looks like TikTok users in Europe, which is why you have that funny looking flag there, looks like they're making 38 cents per day. They start the article saying TikTok Lite users in Europe will have to find another way to earn 38 cents per day. The Lite version of TikTok app launched in 2 European Union countries a couple weeks ago, including a reward feature that paid users a small amount each day to engage with videos. Which, that's insane. An hour of watching video only, oh, okay, wait a minute. Say you have to do a lot of engaging to gain a significant amount of money. An hour of watching videos earns about 36 cents. Jeez Louise. Or 36 euros, which are 38 US cents. Which, I can't fathom how little someone's time is worth if they were literally, again, 38 cents a day to tune into that app. I mean, even if you were to run it in the background, like you're reading a book or you're at work and just turn it on and throw it at your, put the phone, turn on the app and, throw it in a drawer. I mean, the battery degradation to the phone, even that I would think would be a greater loss of value than 38 cents. I suspect this didn't attract enough new users as they're trying to build out that platform. So I'm not too surprised they're stopping this. Which actually begs the question, would you watch videos for 38 cents per hour? Even if you just turned it on and, threw it in the drawer? I'm not shocked this didn't really gain a lot of traction, but as always, let me know. I'll be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now going over to the culture part of the podcast, you have Detroit squatter going viral saying it's her house now, and she even steals her neighbor's electricity with a rudimentary extension cord, it looks like. Now this went viral on Twitter, and is a fascinating, sad phenomenon in the United States where the police are so useless, not all, but in many cases, police, lawyers, and district attorneys, they actually hate you so much they would give rights to squatters over the homeowner. Now this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness, and they note, quote, a reporter asked a squatter in Detroit to hear her side of the story. This is incredible. And apparently that is a she. Or I should say allegedly. I'm really not sure. I think the other fascinating thing from this to take away is, or before we dive into the video, is someone is willing to occupy a house in Detroit. That's I mean, it's hard times in the economy, folks. Let's see here. Without further ado, let's see.
If I left my house, say for a month
and a half,
you think you would be entitled to move in there?
Well,
take my stuff?
Well, it's a lot of, I'm not the only one that is squatting. It's a lot of other people on the block, if you want to be technical.
The first rule of a child, or someone who's as mentally intellectual as a child, is, well, it's not that bad because everyone's doing it. The most rudimentary of arguments. Granted, her intellect may be on par with a child.
And a lot of people encouraged me to do what I'm doing now.
But she wants her place back.
Yeah, but I have put a lot of work in here, and I spent a lot of money. I am on a fixed income.
Is that power hooked up legit?
The excuses continue. I'm a victim. Even though I'm stealing someone's house. What did she say? She's on a fixed income, and she put a lot of work into it. Oh, is that how it works? Well, in the United States in 2024, apparently so. Now they're going to look at her terrible electric job.
My power is
That's not legit.
is not legit.
No, you stealing a little bit of power.
I am blessed.
What do you do for a living?
I receive Social Security.
What a piece of human trash. Stealing someone's house, and what do you do for a living? Nothing. Gets government money.
I don't have
What
no
happened?
secrets.
Disability?
Yes.
What's your ailment?
I'm not gonna say.
No, that's her right. If I left.
What a piece of trash. I can't think of anything more morally or mentally vacuous than stealing someone's house, stealing his neighbor's electricity, and just leeching off the government. Why is this person not in jail? What on earth are they contributing to society? I can't fathom a single positive factor that this person should not be thrown in jail for an indeterminate amount of time. What should the offense? How long should this piece of human trash be thrown in jail for? Again, you're stealing someone's house, you're stealing your neighbor's electricity, and you don't contribute to society. You're just taking money from the government. If this was 50 years ago, people would not tolerate this. As a community, they'd say, hey, someone worked hard, someone bought this house, you are not entitled to their work. You're not entitled to their property. It's not your property. And yet, some district attorneys, some police are actually siding with squatters. Now, thankfully, we have a good couple states where, we actually have someone with a modicum of intelligence in politics. Granted, yes, the bar is very low, but you have someone like Ron DeSantis who signed a bill basically rudimentary saying, we won't tolerate this. The police are on your side, homeowners. And yet, this person has no shame. And look at her. Now, it is weird. I don't know, is the reporter in a robe? There are a lot of bizarre things going on with this video. But it's on Fox 2. It's on a news network. Yeah, it was so morally vacuous. I was hoping it'd be a joke. Because it's so disgusting. That's how far the United States has fallen. There are more incentive mechanisms and more rights for people not to work than to work, and to steal than to not steal. And people wonder why we live in a lawless society. Well, depending on what side of the political spectrum you are on is also how you will or will not be prosecuted these days as well, it seems. Maybe I'm alone in this assessment, though. Let's type in the comments and see what the other folks have to say. And, of course, she also has no sense of fashion. I mean, what is that? A scarf? Let's break this down from the fashion perspective. Obviously, I am the cultural lexicon and chief on fashion. I at least know that men should always suit up. Always look your best. Soaring, I think it's a Detroit Tigers logo. Some type of Detroit sports balls team, which is a tank top. Has a strong jawline. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I'm just a little bit jealous. And jawline's that's a pretty strong one. It's a lot. Truth be told, it might even be better than mine. Low bar, yes, I know. So it's like a scarf in the middle of the year. It's not winter. I'm just stealing. Look at that. They just splice the wires together to steal electricity from their neighbor. So what is this person contributing to society, or what are they paying for? Ridiculous. And of course, it did went viral. It got 2.3 million views and 20,000 likes. Or 20,000, 21,000, let's see. No, alright. I was not the last contributing vote needed on the like button to get to the next level. But nevertheless, one of the first comments comes from Paul Zupa saying, quote, the pause before she says blessed by the electricity she's stealing from her neighbor says it all. Plus, she's living off Social Security and disability. She's furnishing her stolen house with our tax dollars. She should be living in jail cell for this. Unquote, getting 3.2 thousand likes. And yes, 110%. I mean, how many offenses of stealing do we see in a single clip here? And yet, the police are nowhere to be found. General TM says, quote, she admits that she's a squatter and she's blessed for stealing power. What the hell is going on with our country? Unquote, getting 1.6 thousand likes. What is this? BIPOC? What the heck is that? BIPOC? Doing racism? This person says, I was a victim. I'm going to mispronounce a lot of this. Shiat? YT pipe? What does that mean? YouTube? YT pipe be rich and sheet racism. I didn't even listen to the video. Was my description accurate? Unquote, getting 1.6 thousand likes. Let me know in the comments. What is it? YT pipe be rich and Does that mean you people? YT? I need to read more about the Urban Dictionary. Or just put in the comments and help me translate. The youth and modern, some vernacular just eludes me. Peasmo says, quote, squatters' rights is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Squatting is theft. These people should have zero rights. The second the lawful homeowner says they want them out, that's it, get out. Getting 613 likes. Let's see. Visha Mishra says, quote, squatters have gotten so out of control they told the homeowners to call the cops. Looks like it's a 30-second video on the TikTok. Let's see what we got here. What are they saying here?
Woke up and found squatters living in our house.
Hi, who are you? This is our house.
This is not your home.
Yes, this is. No, get the fuck out.
No. Call the police.
Cops are calling now.
Okay, because I
He knows you're full of shit. Just get out.
It's my hood, y'all.
Just get out.
You took that out of the front yard?
Along with the other two signs, because I'm interested in purchasing this home, but there's obviously been some sort of mix-up. It's not called to me on the homeowners.
We don't have that.
Who did you purchase the home from, sir?
Holy Moses! Folks, we gotta rewind that. The police did the right thing here. The police arrested the squatters? Finally! Was this in Florida? They got 308 likes. They didn't clarify, though, the location. But, yeah, it's good to see it sometimes happens. Or the right thing sometimes does happen. Desiree says, or Desire says, quote, we can't get this squatter to leave the White House. It says that a second alternative juror has been chosen. It's Obama with a pretty good beard. Got 418 likes. Spartan Guidance says, quote, the only person hearing her side of the story should be a judge in a courtroom. She's a criminal and she should be treated as such. I'm quoting 614 likes. Oh, this is funny. Libercat Media TM says literally this is a meme of, looks like a white gal with blonde hair. And she says, I can't get the squatters out of my house that I own and pay utilities and upkeep for. And then the Christian guy says, quote, you literally voted for this, unquote, getting 900 likes, which, yes, I forget the origin of the actual quote. If you know, let me know in the comments. But a wise man once said, you get what you vote for. Again, that got 900 likes. Still have not found any contrarian statements. And again, there are people who really believe in squatters' rights and thinks, landlords are evil because they want to make a profit and actually provide for themselves and their family. And I mean, surely, maybe they'll find some contrarian statements here. Mocking SF Values says, quote, notice how quickly DeSantis ended this in Florida. Why would anyone want to live in a blue state? Complete upside down moral universe. I'm quoting 649 likes. Usually the number one reason is jobs. I work in tech, so I have a fair amount of my contacts and people I work with are also based in other states, especially California. And I swear, the job and the weather, those are the two cliche things I always hear. Food's pretty good too. But you do have to step around all the feces in California, try not to get stabbed, or step on, needles of drugs. So it's kind of like an action-adventure video game. You only get one life, and the police and the state are all against you. But I hear they've got great weather all the time. One bad dude simply says they are trying to get people to sympathize with criminals, getting 445. Ooh, 478. That interesting timing. Went up a lot, including myself. Klaus Arminus says, quote, this American law blows my mind. How is this allowed by the country where every citizen is armed to the teeth? I'm going to get 306 likes. Well, in the United States, it's kind of a common misconception. An overwhelming United States in terms of legality of using a firearm. And again, I'm not a lawyer, though I do have a suit. Though I also have morals and values, so I don't think I'd cut it a lawyer. But nevertheless, in most of the United States, you cannot use a firearm haphazardly, and you can't, in most states, believe it or not, you can't use it to defend personal property. You can use it to defend your life. That's the importance of the stand your ground law, where in most states, with the exception of places like New Jersey, where you actually have the right to retreat law, in most states you have a stand your ground law. So if you feel your life is threatened, only then could you use deadly force. And again, if you just point a firearm at someone, in many cases, even if you don't pull the trigger, that is considered deadly force, and you will be tried and prosecuted for it, either, if you did it appropriately or not. You'll be taken to court. So again, that's why it's always paramount to know your laws around firearms and know when you can and cannot withdraw one from your holster. So it's actually a common misconception. You can't just use it willy-nilly, as Grandpa might say. But it is also, yes, disappointing that lawlessness seems to be increasing in the United States. Do one or two more. Here you got Anthony Hughes saying, quote, people who feel they're entitled to other people's stuff is baffling to me. Getting 887 likes. Well, I blame the public school systems and terrible, rudimentary, bad parents. Gunther Eagleman says, quote, difficult Democrat, getting 441 likes. Expose them says, quote, you're stealing power? No, I'm blessed, getting 944 likes. Valentine Gomez, which, again, she's okay at marketing. She needs to put a hashtag or something that reminds people she actually is running for office. Because, again, I only know that because I looked at her actual profile. But, and again, most of her comments are they are in line with her political philosophies, and the people who are going to be on the fence are probably going to vote for her because of, or maybe if they see the comments, they'll be leaning towards her more. And she says, quote, it's crazy that criminals have more rights than hardworking Americans. They're getting 369 likes. Alpha Fox says, quote, someone get this woman some grape drink stat, unquote, getting 128 likes. Which, yeah, as a child, do you remember, like, there's no nutritional value, but there's like the one that, there's like a little juice thing that looked like a barrel. Like, I think G.H. Chappelle said that as a joke about it. It was like, the main ingredients really were just water, sugar, dye. And, like, I think some modicum of, artificial flavor. Man, seems like a lifetime ago. I think Capri Suns are still a thing, interestingly enough. I saw them at the store a while back. Let's see here. More Detroit news. I'll do one more. Sliced says, quote, it's bizarre how these people feel they have the right to literally steal another person's property, but yet have a clear conscience because they're somehow entitled to it. Smack in the face emoji getting 69 likes, which, yes, part of the cultural demise of the United States is these people think they're not doing anything wrong. They just have the overwhelmingly large, disgusting sense of entitlement, which I would also argue is one of the main contributing factors of the decline of the United States. And, wind back the clock 50, 100 years, there's a lot less entitlement. Well, there's also a lot less government programs programming people to, stay on the government's teat, so to say. But, I don't know, do you think this person will actually be forced out by Detroit PD? Will anything actually happen? Will the rightful homeowner get their house back? I'd be fascinated as always. Let me know. I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have Elon Musk on the mainstream media increasing racism by almost 700%. Now, this comes to us obviously on his signature platform on X, or as fewer and fewer people are calling it Twitter. Let me know what you call it. I wonder. A lot of my friends are starting to call it X Twitter or just X, as opposed to the traditional, Twitter. Now, Elon says, quote, this graph illustrates the woke mind virus taking over legacy media. Same happened with online media and education system. Then it spread to other countries. Infection rate is almost 100%, but now it will die. And it says, term frequency in popular U.S. newspapers, racism plus racist plus racism plus racist. And it notes the New York Times, Los Angeles News, Washington Post, and Wall Street Journal. Make this really big here. And it looks like 1970s, was it the relative frequency? New York, from look like 1970 to 2020, New York increased, New York Times specifically, sorry, the delta is 2010 to 2020. New York Times increased those terms in their media by 712%. So didn't double, didn't treble, even more. Los Angeles Times has increased by 7, and again, this is all from 2010 to 2020, increased by 756. Washington Post increased by 361. Wall Street Journal increased by 468. That's astonishing to say the least. And one of the biggest controversies, well, I guess cultural hot topics is also, race relations. One of the best, ways I think to fix it is with Morgan Freeman, where Don Lemon, well, I was going to say Don Lemon got pissed. That's not really unique. It happens on an hourly basis. But he was interviewing Morgan Freeman a couple years back, and Morgan Freeman said, he asked me, how do we fix this, Morgan Freeman? And granted, my voice, I won't even try to do the Morgan Freeman impression. His voice is infinitely better. I couldn't even have a rudimentary type of impression of him. He said, just stop talking about it. Just work hard, get along with each other, and keep increasing your value. Which I think is darn good advice. Now this went viral, got 37 million views in the first 24 hours of posting earlier this week, and 308,000 likes. Is it 309,000 likes? No, okay. I was wondering if my one more like could be the one to get over the hump. It's going to happen one of these days. It has not since, I've started, tracking it. But it's going to happen someday, maybe. One of the first comments comes from our favorite leftist. Well, not a favorite, but always appreciate different types of opinions. You don't want to be bored in an echo chamber. And Luce Leesky He's kind of the antithesis of masculinity or people in the middle or on the right. He's someone who wears a V-neck in his profile picture, which is is jokingly pathetic to say the least. As we know, all men always should suit up. You just look better. And his claim to fame that he pins proudly on his profile on Twitter is talking about how young boys should not be allowed to play football. That's the type of, I was about to say man-child this is. Now, Luke Zaleski says, quote, there are three right-wing plots relentlessly promulgated by ex-MAGA's prominent ad share reward feeds. 1, white people are the victim heroes of the globalist plot against them. 2, Trump is the victim hero of the global plot against him. 3, Elon is a victim Trump of the global plot against him. Granted, mostly mentally vacuous to me, but 1,000 people did like that statement. Luke continued saying, quote, it directly correlates with Trump's white nationalist ascent and yours, and you're attempting to use the coverage, assuming this is accurate, as a way to suggest the giant conspiracy against you and Trump and other white guys, despite disproportionate white representation in the media, unquote. Getting 879 likes. Now, that being said, I mean, most media, it's pretty diverse. I would actually argue, especially when it comes to film these days, is actually more and more what used to be considered minorities in film. I mean, Disney's perhaps one that's always in the news for it. So mostly mentally vacuous, but Luke Zaleski did get, again, 879 likes for that second part of the statement. Now, going down, you also have, an advertisement. Luke Zaleski's on fire. He did 3 comments? I guess he's got time. So Luke Zaleski's third comment says, quote, there's nothing anyone can do or say to confront this level of gaslighting. Nothing. That's the loop we're in. It's gaslighting paradox of pretending Elon is the savior of free speech and journalism and the victim of malign woke forces on his own personal social media platform. And again, I think it's mentally vacuous and stupid, but 848 people did like that third statement. Which, again, even if you didn't do any research, you just every once in a while turned on CNN, turned on mainstream media. I mean, throughout our lifetime, they increasingly are leaning into those narratives and talking about those types of things. I can't see that not being true. Now, some other comments comes from the redheaded libertarian, and she says, quote, the 2013 NDAA repealed the domestic dissemination ban from the Smith-Mundt Act. This allowed for propaganda to freely flow through our country, again for the first time since World War II. Now find 2013 on the x-axis, and she got 936 likes. And if you go back to that chart, 2013 is when you had the really, really, really exponential big increase. So it looks like from 2010 to 2012, 2010 to 2011, 2012, wasn't too much of interference. Actually, one of them actually went down, Washington Post. And then after her time frame that she knows, it does increase exponentially. Like the U.S. inflation rate. Haha, that's a sad pun. Because inflation robs us all, thanks to our government's ineptitudes. You have Zuby saying, quote, there are people who think the USA is more racist now than it was 100 years ago. Clown show. Getting 12,000 likes, which, yes, if you're, and I've met those people, I don't know if they're just, perhaps we can say they're mentally blind, but suggest that the U.S. is more racist now than 100 years ago is one of the most asinine things you could possibly say. And there's a reason everyone is working like hell to get to the U.S. illegally and legally. And there's a reason my family got out of Cuba and came to the U.S. They didn't go somewhere else. The U.S. is quite literally the land of opportunity. I mean, one of the largest social media companies on the planet is owned by an African American, Elon Musk. He was born down there, and he came to America for opportunity. Some of the other top comments, let's see here. Let's see. Trump Army says, quote, reporter, why do you keep calling Joe Biden a criminal? President Trump, he's a criminal. He got caught, read his laptop, and do you know who's a criminal? The media. Media is a criminal for not reporting on it. Well, yes, that is also the deep state where you had, 50 plus former FBI executives or advisors, directors. They all came out and said, oh no, the laptop's for sure, not real. It's bunk. It's not real. Yeah, it turned out to be yet another lie from our government. And it's quite concerning when you look at the polling after the election in 2020, where people asked if you knew about the laptop with the Hunter Biden issue, where you had 10% going to the big guy, would you have still voted for Biden? And enough people in those surveys said that they would not, that Trump would have won. Again, there's no such thing as a perfect survey. The sample sizes are usually 500 to 2,000 people, and it always, of course, does vary on geographic location, but they did make sure that they were checking the polling. They were actually asking registered Democrats. So they were looking at the right sample size. Now that little tweet got 4,000 likes. Looks like there's a little video of Trump saying something.
The main strategy seems to be to call Biden a criminal. Why is that?
He is a criminal. He's a criminal. He got caught, read his laptop, and you know who's a criminal? You're a criminal for not reporting it. You are a criminal for not reporting it. Let me tell you something. Joe Biden is a criminal, and he's been a criminal for a long time, and you're a criminal in the media for not reporting it. Good luck, everybody. Have a good time.
The only thing that was missing is the cliche rap music where, was it na 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 na, where you had like the cool pixelated glasses drop down. But they did get 4,000 likes. Let's see here. Truth Justice says, quote, "It's time to destroy the legacy media, the greatest tool of the communist globalist WF members trying to infect humanity with their sickness and diseased minds," getting 1.3 thousand likes. Tara Bull says, quote, "It's wild how the media will do anything to keep control over the way people think, but who's controlling the media?" Unquote, getting 4,000 likes. General TM says, quote, "I blame Obama for the woke virus and for the graph that supports it," getting 2.4 thousand likes. Gunther Edelman says, quote, "Legacy media is on its last breath. Good riddance," getting 3.8 thousand likes. Oh, I forgot this Dogecoin, the real name for the founder. I think this is his name. Shibatashi Nakamoto. He says, quote, "Race is one of the least interesting things about any human," getting 4.2 thousand likes. It's true. What's the most important thing is their character and what they actually do. Let's see here. Clay Thompson says, quote, "The end of the woke movement is near. It has peaked in 1.2 thousand likes." Let's see here. I love the group videos. Let's see. Junita Broderick says, quote, "I love those group videos where you can actually hear them saying the same exact thing. They look like parrots." And this is...
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
We are concerned about trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
Yep, 840 likes for that compilation. Oh, no way. This is perfect. Is this one of the Morgan Freeman moments I was like specifically referencing? This comes from Jonas Lismont, and he says, "Rather take the Morgan Freeman way." Let's see here.
Black History Month you find ridiculous.
What? You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? Well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
Black History.
The OG Morgan Freeman. Probably I'm surprised he doesn't do more voice acting. Probably one of the best voices in media in Hollywood, bar none. Got 1.3 thousand likes. Let's see here. One more comment. Limo Greg says, quote, "This is the real news. Look how bad the whole world is now." Says it's not that complicated anymore. You have a picture of Trump says peace. Picture of Biden says war. Got 192 likes. Which, yeah, one of the most ironic things during the 2020 election. Remember, actually, when Trump was running the first time, too, they always said, if you vote for Trump, the world will go to hell in a handbasket. There'll be war constantly. And ironically, that was one of the most peaceful times in U.S. history. And now we're almost on World War III. So it'll be interesting to see if the appetite decreases for this type of content with the mainstream media. Do people continue to move over to different contents? I mean, when's the last time you actually turned on a TV and watched Fox News or CNN? Which can't but think they're both equally mentally vacuous with only a couple good things on Fox and the Fox Business section and CNN Business. But let me know. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now going over to the political podcast, you have the TikTok bill officially signed into law. Now this comes to us thanks to LinkedIn News, and they note that President Joe Biden signed the bill calling for the ban, or rather more accurately, the divestiture of TikTok after the U.S. Senate passed legislation late Tuesday night last week. Provision which was embedded in a $95 billion foreign aid package to give to Ukraine as well as Israel as well as Taiwan. Now it looks like ByteDance, which is the parent company that actually owns the entity TikTok, they note that they have 9 to 12 months to find a buyer or face a U.S. ban. TikTok told its U.S. employees they would mount a vigorous legal challenge should a divest or ban law go into effect, citing internal memo. They also know that the pool of potential buyers for TikTok is small due to the price tag that is likely to be in the tens of billions of dollars, and antitrust concerns, even if they were found, separating the app from the parent company will be a mess, according to the New York Times. Which, yeah, that's one of those things where the people that have billions of dollars or that are in the position to buy TikTok, if China were to sell it, they won't. Spoiler alert. I don't think that's going to happen. If it's about making money, maybe. But I can't but think it's mostly a psyop used to kneecap the United States and continue to help us become more and more mentally vacuous, which is be a fascinating debate. What's worse, teachers' unions in public schools or the app? Now, if it's just money, yeah, they probably sell it, make a profit, and they exit. It's not about money, it's about control. It's about decreasing the IQ points of Americans, getting more addicted to more device time, and just being Chinese spyware. And again, if you're trying to divest it, let's say China says, sure, we'll sell it. I mean, I don't think they'll ever close the back doors to connectivities, but even if they did, who could afford to buy it? In terms of large businesses that want to get into social media but are not yet there, they're the ones that are going to be under a magnifying glass for antitrust, and the SEC is going to look at them. I mean, the first thing that came to mind was Microsoft, which, interestingly enough, I think Trump actually suggested a couple of years back. Microsoft has no real social media platform, with the exception of LinkedIn, which is basically just glorified social media for people in suits, like myself. But, again, Microsoft is worth so much and has such... I mean, they already have over 50% of PC operating system sales, and a myriad of other things they sell as well. I don't think that would go through. I mean, most of these tech companies with the financial resources, they're already at the point where I don't think the government would allow them to buy it. So just begs the question, do you think it's not going to be like a seemingly random of investors? It'd have to be a big investment firm, but maybe they would buy it out? And again, they're of course going to take this to the courts. I mean, there's going to be First Amendment arguments. They're going to say, why is this government forcing us to sell our entity? Some might argue the ripple effect or the slippery slope, where, well, if the U.S. is doing this, what if China does not like General Motors or Ford operating in China? I know they're completely different industries, and those companies actually produce vehicles that run sometimes, but what if they use that argument to say, well, now we're not going to allow you to own it, which China's done in the past in certain entities in certain ways. Would this ramp it up exponentially? What are other countries going to do? Would they possibly revolt or rebel? It'll be interesting to see. I mean, for sure they're taking this to the court. The CEO of TikTok has made that very clear. What do you think will be the final result? Do you think they'll actually divest it? Do you think they'll roll the dice and just say, okay, you can ban it, and then everyone in the U.S. starts using a VPN? Which, again, that's a pretty big barrier. It's, of course, relatively very simple to use a VPN, but it's still an extra step, and consumers don't like that. They want to be able to press that one button on their phone and take it right to the site and use the app and have their brain drain, just connect, or rather spill the pool of remaining IQ points they have. So let me know in the comments where your thoughts are with the TikTok divestiture. Will it actually go through? What type of legal precedents, the arguments are going to continue to use, and how many times will this have to go to the court until we get a final resolution? As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Vivek on a U.S. Foreign Affairs congressman wearing the Ukrainian and Israeli flag on their lapel, but no U.S. flag. Now this comes to us thanks to Vivek's ex-Twitter profile, and I mean, this went viral. It's one of his top viewed posts all month. Pulling it up here. So you got Vivek, and I'll scroll down in a second so you actually see the gentleman's face. Vivek says, quote, This is a Republican U.S. congressman who chairs the House of Foreign Affairs Committee and is wearing flag pins of multiple different countries on national television. Interestingly, the United States of America isn't one of them, unquote. Granted, he at least did suit up. Of course, he's wearing a purple t-shirt or a purple tie, perhaps a rhino, pejoratively known as Republican in name only. And he doesn't look too happy either. But yeah, he looks like wearing the, pull it up really quick. He's got the Israel as well as the Ukrainian flag, which, talk about a business opportunity. Those flags are selling like gangbusters. Like, they're just flying off the shelves. I've seen more Ukrainian flags in the United States than I've seen United States flags. I mean, they are everywhere, which also shows what U.S. citizenship seems to care most about. Again, this got 1 million views and 36,000 likes within, and again, this is over actually 3 to 4 days before we got the statistics written down and recorded here, and went pretty viral. I wonder, and again, it's this interesting allegiance. I mean, sending, was it 50? Was it 6? The breakdown of the $95 billion foreign aid package, which, yeah, the schools are, I was gonna say, why fix the schools, the teachers unions and what they're teaching? More accurately, we got homeless veterans, we got streets that are broken in the United States. Why not use that money for that or literally anything else? And the breakdown, I think, was around 60 billion for Ukraine, I think 20 billion for Israel, and 7 to 8 billion for Taiwan. Now, one of the first comments comes from Paul Zazupa saying, quote, "It's only the American flag. It's not like it stands for our country or anything. Most Republicans in Congress have given up on it already. They're traitors." Getting 84 likes. Our favorite leftist. Well, not really favorite, but I appreciate different perspectives because it makes life a little bit more interesting and not an echo chamber. Luke Scalisi's famously known for, well, it's anecdotally to me, for writing an article about saying how boys shouldn't play football, and his profile picture has him wearing a V-neck. It's pathetic to say the least. Now, Luke Scalisi says, quote, "Have you considered crying more about it? Seriously, I think that at this point, every MAGA pro-Putin anti-American outrage has been lodged online, and you can go back to being mad at bathrooms and Barbie and excited Trump went to McDonald's and bought MAGA's food with their donations." Mostly mentally vacuous, but getting 33 likes. Interestingly enough, I've seen like maybe 1 or 2 like pro-Russia people. I think a lot of people just say, I mean, again, what is it? The tally's over $150 billion sent to Ukraine, which most people can't point to on a map. We're not the top. I think we're like they're not even the top 10 in terms of trading partners, in terms of them giving us, or rather, us buying their products or they're buying our products. I think we come in at 12 last time I looked at the infographic. Now, with Israel and Taiwan, you could argue from a business perspective, which is most of my experience comes from, that we do a lot of business with. I mean, the F-35 Lightning II, the helmet was revolutionary. It came from Elbit Systems, which is headquartered over in Israel, with the United States headquarters in Fort Worth, Texas, which, again, is a $400,000 helmet that allows the pilot to actually see, completely immersed in the experience of flying. So if they like their shoes, they don't see their shoes, they actually see everything below them. Again, that's revolutionary technology that we have. Now, Luke did get 33 likes for his statement. Scrolling down more and more. Unrelated. Wow. So Jericho says, quote, "In unrelated news, check out this new ride for the Ukrainian Prime MP. It was a bargain at $600,000. It says, Ukrainian MP Hennedy Vatsak has become the first European owner of the $600,000 Rolls Royce." That's strange. I was told they were struggling at war and trying to fend out the Russians, and they needed money for munitions and other things. Oh no, they're buying unrelated crap, apparently. Spoiler alert, we're also funding their pensions as well as small business over there. So, small businesses are being kneecapped in the United States with increased rules and regulation and taxes. We're actively funding other businesses across the globe that will never benefit us. Interesting priorities of our folks in DC. Now that picture of the Rolls Royce got 232 likes. Let's see. One bad dude says, quote, perhaps a grammar error. It says, "The do not support the United States. It cannot be any clearer." And it's a picture of, I think, Joe Biden from the 70s or 80s. It says, I was a pedo, liar, and moron that could be easily bought and blackmailed. He was controlled to make controlled demolition seem like incompetence." Got 619 likes. At least he did wear suits, though. Actually, it's up to 619 likes now. So, let's see here. Brad Miller says, quote, "It's happening now," and it's a quote from Abraham Lincoln saying, quote, "America will never be destroyed from the outside. It will falter and lose our freedoms. It will be if we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves." Getting 415 likes, which, yep. Oh, geez, Louise, that's a long infographic. This comes from Free Patriot Artist saying, "Vote out the rhinos," and it's a infographic saying House Republicans who voted to give Ukraine an additional $62 billion today. That got 271 likes. Now, again, the issue with this is that money was also tied to multiple things. So it was also tied to Israel as well as Taiwan. Taiwan being, again, the #1 semiconductor manufacturer on the planet. So if you listen to an electronic device, odds are it's coming from Taiwan. So I understand that business relationship we have with them. They're also a long-term ally. And that's the issue with all these omnibus bills. I don't like them. I think every time the government wants to spend $1 or more, it should be voted on individual line item. So everything is separate. You don't have these omnibus bills and packages where they can obfuscate responsibility and say, or advocate responsibility as well, saying, well, I wanted one thing, so I had to vote for it. And again, they do this on the left and the right. So quite a few folks over there. Do one or two more comments here. Joey Mariano says, quote, "It's just pathetic," getting 637 likes. Let's see, Tammy says these people need to be brought up on treason. This is outrageous, getting 132 likes. Gilden6 says, quote, "Why are they always so quick to prove and show their loyalty is to a foreign nation, yet so little for Americans?" Getting 132 likes. So trying to see if there's any contrarian statements here. A couple more memes that are pro-Trump. What's this? Ukrainian is known for money laundering, silencing free speech, dangerous biolabs. Oh yeah, they also have Nazis there too. Like, not the cliche one where, liberals will call anyone a Nazi if they don't agree with them. Like, the real ones, interestingly enough. Let's just say they weren't on the right side in World War II either. So, overwhelming positive feedback in terms of the original, pretty much everyone agreeing with Vivek's take on the situation. And yeah, it's kind of telling where, some people don't even have an American flag anymore, but they have the Ukrainian flag at their front lawn, which, yeah, it's not good. Again, one of the many ineptitudes, or evils, maybe a little bit both, of the public school system. They've just destroyed patriotism. They keep teaching kids that the United States is evil from day one. There's a bad thing. You shouldn't respect or, heaven forbid, even say the Pledge of Allegiance, respect the flag. And yes, you see the ripple effect. Why do you think the U.S. military recruitment numbers are down? Every branch of the military has failed to hit the recruitment numbers time and time again, with the exception of the Marines, which I would guess it's not just marketing. They're also one of the oldest, most prestigious branches. They also tend to be less, as the youth might say, woke, injecting controversial political things into it. So that's my really, really quick theory of why the Marines keep hitting their recruitment numbers while the other branches do not. But let me know in the comments, as always. Do you know anyone who is wearing those flags and those lapel pins? They changed their Facebook profile. When again, no. Again, let me know if I should do more. I've been thinking about doing more of these street interviews. I was thinking about going out on an average street, maybe somewhere in Texas, just going in there with a map and asking people, like, hey, can you point to Ukraine on the map for me? And how many of them could really do it? Like, well, you probably. I guess we should know now. We sent them, again, over 150, nearly $200 billion in aid. And granted, I understand some of that aid, you could argue, is reinvested to the United States, because we're using some of that to actually manufacture and sell munitions to them. But I understand that's somewhat of an argument, and I understand the logic that it could maybe sustain jobs, but I don't think it really expands the actual. It doesn't actually increase overall value. You're moving money around. Again, a complex topic for another time perhaps, but as always, let me know. I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have a Biden speech in which he says, 4 more years, pause. Thereby saying the directions out loud. Which I could understand maybe being a faux pas or a brain fart. Truth be told, if you tuned into this show before, I've made many mistakes and will continue to for years. Though I do have a theory. If you click the subscribe button, it kind of helps. I've noticed when I first started the show, not a lot of subscribers, not a lot of views, and I stumbled over my words a lot, spoke even faster at a rate of pace, and truth be told, it was a little bit of a monotone. But as more and more people have subscribed, it's slowly gotten better, and my speaking ineptitudes have decreased. Some might argue it's just a modicum of improvement, but an improvement to say the least, I would argue. So again, if you can click that subscribe button, I'd greatly appreciate it. So, I don't know, given his age, cognitive decline, I don't think this is just a brain fart. I think it's not a one-off mistake. It's a pattern we're seeing more and more of. Now, this was first actually reported thanks to Clay Travis on X Twitter, and he says, quote, Joe Biden read the instruction, pause on teleprompter, the guy is Ron Burgundy, just keeps getting worse. True, but at least he does wear a suit. I was about to say he does something right. His person who clothes him does something right. Let's see if we got some sound here. Interesting enough, it looks like he has an American flag lapel pin. Might do a screenshot. No one will believe me. That's pretty rare. Let's see here.
Imagine what we can do next. 4 more years. Pause. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. Imagine what.
Are they trained SEALs? Again, he has lots of fans. He has millions of people who vote for him. Don't get me wrong. But I'd love to get the room. It's almost as if they were asking for cue cards. I think some people in the comments reference that too. But yeah, I know people are passionate about hating Trump. I know people who are passionate about loving Trump. I really have never met anyone passionate about wanting to vote for Biden or passionate about his campaign or what he's done. I've met people who are kind of like lukewarm, old school Democrats, like, he's a Democrat, I'll vote for him, he's all right. Like, have you ever met anyone who's enthusiastic about Biden? Like, have you ever met, I still wonder, have you ever seen a single Biden hat or a flag or a t-shirt or a mug or a sticker? With the exception of a college campus, I have not seen any of those. But let's do it one more time before we look at the comments. It is hilariously inept.
What we can do next. 4 more years. Pause. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years.
I mean, how many notes? 4 more years, pause. He can't remember 3 words? And that's half his campaign is just saying that, like 4 more years. That's one of the easiest things to remember, is the duration of your term. And yet, he had to read the teleprompter for that. I mean, I have a rudimentary teleprompter in front of me. It's just my computer monitor that I throw a little Word document on. And I just usually read the headline of these, and I'll read a little bit of if I'm quoting an article. But I can't imagine not knowing 3 words and being able to remember and memorize 3 words. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all his fans are in the comments defending him and saying he just had just a small mistake, and it can happen to anyone. I mean, probably not, but let's dive in the comments and see what folks are saying. Looks like that guy behind him is just, thinking in his head, dear God, we need to stop letting him talk. They went pretty viral. Got 1.6 million views last week and 24,000 likes. And one of the first comments comes from Brad Baca saying, quote, even the chant is coordinating, getting 461 likes. Now, interesting enough, I mean, on the show, we usually talk about Lucy Leakey because I follow him to get some contrarian statements in the comments. And if you follow someone, that's where you see them. There will be one of the first comments. And yet, I don't see him ever defending him. Like, I don't see any... Again, we'll see if there's any people that are defending Biden here. Like, again, where's the excitement to vote for him? Mason Branch says, quote, this elder abuse needs to stop, getting 167 likes. Let's have a conversation. Says, quote, the worst part IMO is that this tells you the 4 more years chant wasn't organic, getting 367 likes. Which, yeah. Blake Ferguson says, quote, convenient that there's a pause right when the chanting starts, almost as if they're holding up cue cards for the audience, getting 166 likes. Jay Hillenberg says, quote, the world is watching and laughing, getting 24 likes. Dilbert says, quote, pretty obvious he's not the one running things, getting 26 likes. Janet Fine-Cannon says, quote, and its supporters are just as bad, getting 18 likes. Sky Guy simply says, this guy is toast, we're in for troubled waters, getting 20 likes. Joe says, quote, this is funny, Ron Burgundy, getting 34 likes. Matt Griffin also says, Ron Burgundy, Internet Gold, getting 69 likes. Which, again, you need a lot of technical acumen in terms of offensive cybersecurity capabilities, but if you could somehow actually hack into the teleprompter, I mean, that would be priceless, because I think he would say anything you put on that teleprompter. No matter what it says, he would just do it. So again, everything surrounding government officials, they're protected pretty damn well. But that would be, as far as anonymous or some hacking organization hasn't tried that, because again, he would read it. It would be hilarious to say the least. One more. We'll do Sherry Baker. She says, I love these videos. What clown's getting 81 likes? Let's see here. I spoke too soon. Brad Miller has a meme says PW United States getting 57 likes. Let's see here. E-Bell says, quote, Biden's screenwriter adding stage directions to the teleprompter, and it's Austin Powers looking with a smirk. It says, I also like to live dangerously, getting 53 likes. Relic says, got him, is a picture of Ron Burgundy, and he says, and I'm Ron Burgundy, and he says, pause. I got 18 likes. So yeah, it doesn't look good. It just adds to the concerns that most everyone has around his campaign, which, again, one of the top concerns is his age and his mental decline, which I think a lot of people have finally gotten to the point where they understand, no, it's not just a stutter. Which, if you look at historically at his other speeches and throughout his life, he did have somewhat of a stutter. But there's a huge distinct difference between a stutter and fumbling and reading things out loud, fumbling more than usual. Like, usually a stutter, and if you tune in on to the show, you'll hear a stutter. I mean, I am a case in point, a great example of someone who has a stutter. It's gotten slightly better throughout the years with practice, but obviously a lot of room for improvement. But this clearly isn't a stutter. And I can't really think the more his team lets him talk, the less people are willing to vote for him. If he wants to win, his advisors, surely they'll just do copy-paste from the old campaign book where they ran in 2020, or just ran it from his basement. That worked. That was effective, rather. I can barely speak myself. But if you click the subscribe button, I still greatly appreciate it. It might help. I mean, 2020, the focus was on Trump. Biden just was in the basement. He didn't have to speak. It worked. He got elected. Millions of people voted for him. I still think he could do that. That methodology would be more effective. And again, see, another great example of stuttering. But let me go. Do you think they'll actually allow him to talk more? Do you think they'll learn? His campaign staff will say, hey, Mr. President, we need to be in a more controlled environment. They'll take videos that they can edit to make him look more not falling apart and human. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Omaha Packing Company Beef being recalled. Now this comes to us thanks to Fox Business. They note that, quote, various ground beef products may be contaminated by E. coli, health agency warns. And these are specifically produced by Greater Omaha Packing Co. I'll scroll down here a little bit. Oh, jeez Louise. Good old pop-up ads. You always count on Fox News for having pop-up banner ads, right? So scrolling down more and more. Let's see here. Apologies. The agency said that they were concerned that some products may be in consumers' fridges and food services institutions' freezers and urged the public not to consume them due to possible E. coli contamination. They note that more than a dozen potentially contaminated products were produced by Greater Omaha Packing Company, include patties and tubes of raw ground beef, according to the FSIS Public Health Alert issued last Saturday. Let's see here, and they say, I think on the Twitter, it looks like. They say, yeah, USDA actually does have the little Twitter. There we go. So they note that, quote, the problem was discovered by the establishment while conducting an inventory of product that was on hold because it was found positive for E. coli 0157H7. The company notified FISIS that they inadvertently used a portion of the contaminated beef to produce ground beef patties, and they subsequently shipped into commerce. Scrolling down more and more. And unfortunately, they only give you the recall barcodes with specific packages. They tell you they tell you about the disease. They're not giving you a not the most specific recall. So just usually they'll tell you the batch in which you have a recall. You can actually check your product to see. But yeah, it looks like this. Just make sure if you have anything from Greater Omaha Packaging, make sure you just toss it away because your health isn't worth the risk. But yeah, we've seen this time and time again with ground beef companies. It's definitely not good for the brand reputation, and it's not good in terms of no one wants to deal with the hassle of actually getting a refund. unless you have a copious amounts of times in your hand, so just increased frustration to the brand, and just declines your actual confidence that they'll actually do it right the first time. So definitely have a dent on their sales. And again, they're doing the right thing. They're doing the recall, and hopefully nobody will be too negatively affected by it. But still not great for the brand. And I gotta say, Omaha Packing Company, you are certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.